So, if you've been feeling that creeping sense of overwhelm lately, with just how ridiculously fast your industry is shifting, trust me, you're absolutely not alone. Today, we're diving into this explainer to unpack exactly why traditional management skills are just breaking down right now, and more importantly, how to equip yourself for the future of work. We're going to tear down those old command and control models and build up your cognitive agility so you can actually thrive when things get uncertain. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the exponential era. Move on to measuring your adaptability quotient, decode cognitive flexibility, master the art of unlearning, and wrap up with some really practical tools for adaptive leaders. It's a journey from the big, intimidating global macro data right down to the specific psychological frameworks you can use to future-proof your career. All right, Section 1, the exponential era, the macro shift in the world of work. Let's start off with a bang. This quote by futurist Ray Kurzweil perfectly captures the sheer velocity of the era we're living in right now. It's not just that things are changing, it's that the rate of change is accelerating exponentially. And honestly, this demands a massive shift in how we lead. Why? Because your past experience is no longer the ultimate currency. When the rules of the game just keep changing, what got you here is absolutely not going to get you there. And this brilliantly illustrates the core problem we're facing. Picture technology as a rocket ship blasting upward on a steep exponential curve. But human adaptability? It's that flatter line, lagging dangerously behind. And the scary part is, we are living right at that specific intersection point today. What's really terrifying about this gap is its real-world impact. 40%, nearly half, of the jobs that exist today will just completely vanish in a decade. Pair that with the McKinsey data showing that up to 375 million people might need to switch occupations entirely. To put that into perspective, that is more than the entire population of the United States just needing a totally new career path. It's a macro shift of an unprecedented scale. Moving on to Section 2, your adaptability quotient, measuring organizational readiness. So, if accelerating change is the problem, adaptability is our magical weapon. According to the Global AQI study, which looked at thousands of employees across 28 countries, 73 out of 100 is the average individual adaptability score. Now, at first glance, a 73, it's a solid C grade. It sounds like we're passing, right? Well, that is until you look under the hood. Because here's the crucial point. Nearly 1/3 of the general workforce actually struggles with low adaptability. And it gets intensely complex when you're managing multi-generational teams. Baby boomers are facing the steepest climb here, showing a substantially higher share of low adaptability compared to millennials and Gen Z. As a leader, bridging that divide means we have a massive workforce readiness issue to solve. To fix this, we have to realize that adaptability isn't just some single trait you're born with. It's an intricate interplay of your ability, your character, and your environment. Researchers call this the ACE model. Think about it practically. Your character drives your willingness to even try something new. Your environment, like, whether your boss punches failure, dictates when you actually feel safe enough to adapt. But your ability? That's the actual cognitive muscle you flex to make the pivot. Section 3, decoding cognitive flexibility, the mental gymnastics of leadership. To really improve that ability score we just talked about, we need to master cognitive flexibility. At its core, this is your ability to adapt and shift perspectives in response to changing situations. It's a total mental paradigm shift. Instead of buckling under pressure or stubbornly sticking to a failing plan, you become a mental gymnast. You smoothly shift gears and see multiple paths forward at the exact same time. This is the absolute opposite of just gritting your teeth through stress. It requires something called cognitive inhibition. That means actively stopping yourself from saying, well, we've always done it this way. So you can quickly view a massive disruption from 5 different angles before making a call. It's all about overriding your automatic habits and rapidly juggling competing ideas. Which brings us to Section 4, the art of unlearning, focusing on subtraction over addition. This is a fascinating and deeply counterintuitive concept. As leaders, we're kind of obsessed with hoarding knowledge, right? We're constantly told to read more books, take more courses, acquire more frameworks. That's additive learning. But right now, subtractive unlearning, taking a metaphorical sledgehammer to your outdated mental models, is actually far more critical. You simply cannot adapt if your brain's operating system is clogged up with irrelevant methodologies. And the data absolutely backs this up.
The AQI predictive model found that acquiring unlearnability can boost a leader's overall adaptability by a whopping 37 to 40%. Let that sink in for a second. It isn't just a nice to have. It's literally the single greatest multiplier for your survival and success in this exponential era. Okay, Section 5, Tools for Adaptive Leaders. Let's look at some frameworks for the real world. First things first, we have to unlearn our traditional view of the boss. If you treat leadership like being an all-knowing chess master trying to direct every single move from the top down, the sheer complexity of the modern world will break you. Instead, and this was popularized by General Stan McChrystal, cognitive flexibility requires acting like a gardener. You cultivate the environment, you set the boundaries, and then you empower your team to grow and problem solve on their own.
Next up is a great framework for forced perspective shifting, the Bowman-Deal model. When you're facing a complex problem, use this to force yourself right out of your default mindset. Analyze the issue through a structural lens, then force yourself to look at the political realities you might be ignoring. Evaluate the symbolic meaning to your team, and finally, assess the human resource needs. This single tool will dramatically stretch your cognitive flexibility during split-second decisions.
Now, if you are just exhausted from running around fighting daily fires, you need the systems thinking iceberg. Stop spending all your energy at the tip of the iceberg, just reacting to immediate events. Adaptive leaders use their cognitive flexibility to look way below the surface. They identify the underlying patterns, and they uncover the deep, hidden structures and mental models that are actually driving the organization's outcomes.
Finally, let's tie it back to the environment piece of that ACE model. The data clearly shows that burnout is triggered by constant required change. But thriving in resilience, they're massively buffered by team support, clear stretch goals, and positive work experiences. Protecting your team's environment isn't just about feeling good. It is directly protecting your company's bottom line by building a culture that can actually weather technological disruption.
We've covered some immense ground today, from the terrifying speed of exponential change right down to the specific tools of a cognitive gymnast. But here's the big takeaway. The tools are in your hands, but the first step is making the deliberate decision to lead adaptively. So I'll leave you with this. What outdated mental model are you willing to let go of today to unlearn your way to the future? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time as we continue to decode the future of work.